Wellity. Here we are again. Alright. This is the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3 review, along with the Amazing Spider-Man 2 review. Now, let's get Spider-Man 3 out of the way from Sam Raimi. I love the film. I love any Spider-Man movie that you would hand out to me. As a kid, I'll eat that up. But you see, the problem that I have here is I love it when Spider-Man movies bring the Sinister Six. They can even make the series last to the Sinister Six. But listen, the problem with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 is, sadly, Venom, in my opinion. If he had Sandman and just did him, like think about it, they could have had a lot of things here. Sandman could have been more powerful than Peter, and Harry had to come in and help him. And either way, they were just doing one villain at a time. That's what they needed. And Sam Raimi even said himself that he didn't really want to add Venom. In my personal opinion, I think it should have just been Sandman. Because Sandman in that movie, let's say that at the final battle, he had a whole bank. Peter needed to stop him. And they kept fighting because Peter was angry that Sandman killed his uncle, and bing bada boom, it would have worked out. But no, Sony is the enemy here. Now, if y'all don't see a Spider-Man 4 from Tom Holland, it's because Spider-Man movies, they have a real hard time getting to their fourth or third movie. So, let's hope Tom Holland's performance can give us something that isn't crap. Because Spider-Man 1 was good because Spider-Man had a connection with all the villains here. But with Venom, it was different. He had a lack of humanity, as Sam Raimi would have said it. He had that. It was just an alien. It was just a weird version of an xenomorph that was PG. Had a few scares here and there, but it didn't have the scariness Green Goblin did, or the campiness and amazingness and nostalgic feel that Green Goblin did. It didn't have that awesome connection with Doc Ock. Doc Ock and Green Goblin, they're the holy grails of Spider-Man films. That and Tobey Maguire's series is Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man series. It's overall amazing. But they just didn't need Venom for the third movie. And you can disagree. This is my own opinion. Now let's get to my favorite. Now, if y'all think that, like, what's your favorite Spider-Man movie? Who's your favorite Spider-Man actor? I don't care. Most people will say Tobey Maguire because he's nostalgic for adults. Some people may say Tom Holland because he's newer, and newer means better. But let me tell you something. Tobey Maguire is my least favorite Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong. Spider-Man 3 is my most hated Spider-Man movie. Now, y'all are like, wait a minute. Let me speak. The Amazing Spider-Man 1. It was just your typical Spider-Man movie. Uncle Ben dies. Peter learns to become a hero and be good. Has to fight a bad guy because the bad guy is going to do something to the city and or just someone or just do something, and Peter will be there to stop it. That was the Amazing Spider-Man 1. But let me tell you about 2. Electro. Where do I go with this? He is my favorite Spider-Man movie villain on screen. But Green Goblin's my most hated. Let me tell you, Venom from Sam Raimi's trilogy, sure, it gave us Bully Maguire, and all y'all are probably just realizing that I said that, and y'all are probably pointing a double-barrel shotgun towards your screen. I don't blame you. Because The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the first ever Spider-Man movie I saw. That's when it started getting me into reading, like, the books, the comics. But after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I asked my grandparents if there was any other Spider-Man movie out there. They said yeah, and they showed me the Sam Raimi trilogy. This is when Doc Ock and Green Goblin came into my life. So my top 4 villains are Doc Ock, Green Goblin, the Lizard, and Electro. Because every Spider-Man movie, I think, only really needs one big bad. And let me tell you, Homecoming was able to avoid this, because the Vulture is a rememberable villain. But half of y'all are probably just like, oh wait, the Shocker's in that movie. Was he, though? Because, let me straight up tell you, until about 6 days ago, I remembered the Shocker was in the movie because I saw it. Homecoming is an enigma to me, because sometimes I can hate Spider-Man, but sometimes he can be like one of the best Spider-Man ever, because they're using a teenager to play a teenager. Because Andrew Garfield has the most unique, because the action doesn't fail to let you down or bore you, but the emotional parts just hit you different. And the reason why and that's honestly one of the reasons why Tobey Maguire was one of my least favorite. Tobey didn't care. Personally, I feel like he was just there for the money. After Spider-Man 1 was a success, he just kept rolling with it. I didn't think he cared. He had no emotional theme to it. And his first lines were like, "Are you sure you want to know who I am?" He sounded like he was at a 2-year-old's funeral that he didn't even know. He just didn't care. But in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, come on, in the first Spider-Man movie, this is something that you'll see from certain people who review these types of movies, such as Nostalgic Critic. He even said that the best difference about The Amazing Spider-Man and Sam Raimi's trilogy was the whole girlfriend-boyfriend relationship between the main couple, Peter and MJ and Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy fought back. I mean, hell, she was brave enough to hit the Lizard whenever she hit Spidey. She was not letting this thing hit her mans. I mean, hell, in the original Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man that Andrew Garfield was in, Gwen didn't even know that Peter was Spider-Man originally, and she's just like, oh, this guy's in trouble. bonk. But of course, was better. So Andrew also had more entertainment. It was just more fluid. But the only thing that could have made Sam Raimi, the Raimi trilogy, better is if Toby fought Sandman. If it was just Sandman in Spider-Man 3, I would have a whole different perspective on Spider-Man. Sure, it could have been the same old talk, fight, talk, fight, talk, fight. But with the Amazing Spider-Man 2, anyway, there were so many plot lines. The only plot lines I think they really needed because Electro, he's one of my favorite villains when it comes to acting and powers. The origin story, though. Mark Webb, do we need to have a chat? Because I'm sorry. Listen, if I met Spider-Man, I'd be fanboying. I would be like, ooh, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. But I wouldn't just go up to the mirror, start shaving with Spider-Man photos all around me, with little hearts on the wall, with just shaving myself in front of the mirror. That's how you know you've went to the bottom of the barrel. I just wanted y'all to let y'all know, if Harry Osborn and Oscorp stayed out of the Amazing Spider-Man 3, we could have kept Andrew going, and they could have revealed Rhino for the next movie with another villain. Then, because what the third movie is when they start adding more than over one villain, because then they know if they just keep doing the same old thing over and over again, it's going to get repetitive, even if people want more Spider-Man movies. Sorry. But overall, think what you want. Tobey Maguire is still an awesome Spider-Man. But if Venom just stayed out of Spider-Man 3, who knows? I might even like Sam Raimi's trilogy better. But if someone somewhere can post to me just email me my email. I don't want to give out my email because I don't know what that'll do. Someone find me. Text in the comments on my PlayStation videos, my Fortnite videos, all of that. Just post what you think, because I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's just all technology for the villains now. The Shocker, technology. Vulture, technology. Mysterio wasn't even Mysterio. Sure, he used the illusions and tricks, but it wasn't him. It was just Tony's drones. That movie was just Spider-Man versus a man controlling Tony's drones. The Elementals, have y'all even thought of this? The Elementals, that whole movie, it was just him fighting drones. It was probably like 2 drones and Spider-Man fighting all of that. It wasn't real. Vulture, believable. I could work with that, alright? Because it was actually him fighting. Shocker, I can go with that. It was him fighting. But guess who wasn't fighting? Quentin Beck. He was just standing over there like, yep, yep, y'all are doing it now. Yep, keep going, buddies. Y'all are doing good. With the Electro and Lizard had goals. And you know what? At this point, I'm going to just see Green Goblin from Andrew's series. Because listen, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin from Sam Raimi's first movie and the Amazing Spider-Man 2, those are uncomparable. Now, personally, I like the look on The Amazing Spider-Man 2's glider more. But that suit, that face, that actor can go the heck out of that movie. Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe's, the glider's still enjoyable, but he can stay where he is. He can stay at his holy grail of Spider-Man villains. But nothing can compare to Doc Ock, the Lizard, and the Electro for me. Personally, though, Andrew is my favorite Spider-Man of all time. I used to have different opinions. I used to think that Tom Holland's the best because I was younger. I was like, oh, Tom Holland is so good. He's the best Spider-Man ever. I had to look at Tobey, and I changed my mind. But going back, rethinking on Spider-Man again, asking my family what I saw originally, rewatching it again, and it just... Andrew's just better. And people criticize him way too much. And y'all just need to stop. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had its flaws. But really, let me just... Sam Raimi had the balls to put Spider-Man Tobey Maguire to go on the streets of New York and dance like a pimp in a tuxedo in front of a fancy tuxedo shop. And Venom was not the bad guy, because from what I heard, Spider-Man was more the bad guy there. Venom was just kind of mad because he just wanted to live with Peter, like kind of like Venom and Eddie now, and from Tom Hardy's Venom. But, Venom just didn't talk in Sam Raimi's Venom, which was also another downgrade. It was because the host, Venom in that movie seemed more like Toxin. The host controlled the symbiote. And from what Eddie in that movie was saying, in the older Sam Raimi movie, it seemed that way too. I hate the Green Goblin from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I hate Sam Raimi's Venom. And if it was like, I don't know, Hobgoblin versus think about it. If they wanted to add another villain, it could have been Hobgoblin. Would have made more sense considering, think about it. A crazy dude gets his hand on green, the Green Goblin's old glider, customizes it instead of green and purple, blue, it's just orange and blue and all that. Has a crazy technology suit, Green Goblin but orange and blue. And he could fight Harry while Sandman was busy with Spider-Man and all that. Because if you think about it, Sandman was kind of stupid in that movie. Did he not notice? Oh, wait. You're that black suit Spider-Man dude. You can probably shapeshift and all that. Nah, let's just go hit Spider-Man. But the Green Goblin only had 19 minutes of debut in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. If it was just Electro and Sandman, my opinions on Andrew and Tobey would be a little different. So far, though, Tom has his fair share of issues. And that main issue is Mysterio. I don't hate him. Not like Green Goblin or Venom, but he's close. He's definitely right behind Venom on that train. Green Goblin from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, most hated villain ever. It was just... Y'all get my point. I'm rambling at this point. I'm hot and all that, sweating. Rough day. Y'all get it, though. There you go. I can't do spaces on here. But y'all get the idea. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 Green Goblin sucks. Sam Raimi's Venom sucks. Tom Holland's Mysterio, you know what? Let's throw him on that train. He sucks. Hopefully No Way Home will not be like evil Doctor Strange illusions and all that, you know. Let's hope that it's not illusions or tech or magic. I just want my basic Spider-Man villains. I kind of want to hear the Green Goblin saying, "I'll get you next time, Spider-Man." Doc Ock saying, "You stuck your webs in my business for the last time." I don't know. I just want something better. There is no reason for Green Goblin or Venom to be in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Sam Raimi. Nor Mysterio using Tony Stark's drones. Alright, that's just, no. Y'all get my point. That's my opinion here. It was just Electro and Sandman in the movies. And a real Mysterio Tom Holland movie. Then this could have been all evaded. This whole video would be evaded at that point if it was all fixed. Doesn't help that we also had the Rhino pushed in there. Because the Rhino I'm perfectly fine with. If it was like the Rhino and Vulture. Or how about Rhino and Scorpion? They have a relationship, right? They're like both stuck in their suit. I'm still kind of curious how Rhino got a hold of that metal suit. But you know what? I don't know. Rhino could have been like they could have shown Rhino and Scorpion at the end and Spider-Man coming in and y'all like, oh, next two villains. I want all Spider-Man villains to just be normal. No illusions, please. No like, haha, I tricked you. It's fake. I'm not really in a suit. I'm just kind of here using illusions. Like Mysterio. Y'all get the idea. I'm rambling. I'm repeating. This has been the Spidey Talk Show, everybody. See you later.